So hi, everyone. Welcome to the second legislative town hall for the 2021 UPUA elections. Today, we will be seeing 10 candidates for the at-large positions. There are 20 open at-large positions for the UPUA. And each candidate will get 5 minutes to speak and basically introduce themselves to you. And without further ado, we will be have our first candidate, Brandon Walker.
Hi, everyone. So before I say anything else, I just want to say we should give a massive, virtual round of applause to the amazing work that our current student government has done. I mean, in spite of everything that's been going on, they have done a wonderful job at setting us up for a great next year. But so with all that being done, I just want to say a little bit about myself and what I believe in. So I'm from Pittsburgh, PA originally. I'm majoring in accounting. And the thing that drew me to this university was the wide variety of people. I mean, you have people who they're here to have a good time, right? They're maybe not as serious about about school as others might be. And within a 1 mile radius, you have people like Joshua here who are taking, I believe, 3 majors. Crazy stuff. And that massively wide variety of people is what really drew me to the university. And I feel like with there being such a wide variety, I feel like that also means that there are a lot of wants and needs that need to be accommodated for. So my game plan as your representative is to just help people, whether it be people feel included, whether it be people have access to the mental health resources they need, whether it be people are just doing well in college, doing well in school, having the best experience at Penn State that they could possibly have. Because me personally, I've loved it here so far. I mean, I was talking to my dad the other day about it. He said, "Oh, what'd you think of Penn State?" And I said, "Dad, I was born to go to Penn State." I mean, it really is a great community, and I want everyone here, no matter who you are, to have the same quality experience that I've had up until this point. So really, I want to keep this short because I know everyone here has a lot going on, but what I want to do, I just want to help people. That's all.
Thank you, Brandon. And next up, we have Stephen Zhang.
Yep, give me one quick second here. Can you see me? I think my camera's on. Cool. Okay. Let's do this. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephen Zhang, and I am a junior double majoring in economics and political science, as well as pursuing a Master of International Affairs. On campus, you've probably seen me around with a number of different roles and organizations. I'm currently a member of UPUA, where I serve as the at-large representative, as well as the Speaker of the Assembly. I work with the UPUA caucus, where I currently serve as the Secretary and the Internal Relations Chair. And I'd say that throughout my time at Penn State, I've pushed for and worked on a number of different initiatives. For example, helping to push the community group seats through the UPUA and the 13th Assembly, working on restructuring the Outreach Committee into the Justice and Equity Committee, and also helping to create the Department of Outreach in the 14th Assembly, and really working on changes that are infrastructural that really serve to increase the transparency of student government and university leaders. This past year, I also helped with the formation of the town hall that everyone is at tonight, as well as the other town halls that are happening across these 2 weeks in terms of really getting to help people know their representatives and their candidates better, as well as solidifying the requirement for all representatives to disclose their organizations while running for UPUA. So I've been in UPUA for the past 3 years, and this is hopefully coming up to be my 4th. So you can really say that this is my last rodeo, my final hurrah. And I think that a lot of what I want to accomplish as a representative this year is really a culmination of all these experiences that I've pushed for these past few years. In terms of equity, I learned how to really how impactful these invisible barriers often are between different communities across the university that keep them from being able to fulfill their full potential. Whether it's economically or culturally, there's so many different variables at play, so many different intersectionalities that push people away from being their very best. So really, I really want to make sure that my candidacy and my potential time in UPUA next year is working on pushing down those barriers. Through the closing weeks of this semester, I had started on 2 initiatives with a few fellow representatives. One is trying to get financial support for students who participate in the UPUA so that they're really able to, see this as a worthwhile and a time-consuming initiative or time-consuming organization that they can still find financial support from. But also working on another initiative on-demand translation software for students who may not have English as a first language or might struggle with English. These 2 initiatives are examples of what I think will move us forward. And really, regardless of my affiliation with UPUA or not next year, are 2 initiatives that I continue to hope to work on. But I know that I'll definitely benefit from the organization's support with that. Of course, I will continue to fight for the voice of the underrepresented and heard in the room. I really want to bring to fruition the permanent versions of the initiatives we discussed and tested, but never really fully engaged with. Some of the other examples of things that I've worked with is mandatory anti-racism training for all representatives at the beginning of this UPUA assembly. And I really want to work on something that mandates this, but also mandates something like cultural competency training with representatives. Again, solidifying things that we've tested in the past, but I think can have a long ways to go, and we can really look for to solidify in the future. The second point that I really want to emphasize about my candidacy is transparency. As a student, one of the things that really consistently frustrates me about administration, about Penn State, is when I really see or hear others tell me things that are being worked on, or that's going to be all right, or that everything's going to be fine, and that there's things happening in the background, when there could be little to no progress being made, and we don't know about anything about the statistics, the facts about what's really happening behind the scenes. I think it's really important to realize that, as students, we aren't children, we're adults paying money to this institution, and we really deserve to be treated as such. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is. When you're a Penn Stater, you deserve to be treated like a Penn Stater. Whether it's progress being made on initiatives in diversity, equity, inclusion throughout these past few months that's been emphasized, climate surveys on the university and students and how they feel about the university, or really even decisions made across Penn State at the student or administrative level. We are important stakeholders, and we have a right to that data and the transparent progress and what happens behind these closed or partially closed or even open doors. As an at-large representative, I would push for more open and easily accessible data sets on issues like this, whether it's tuition, climate change, university investments, student climate surveys, etc., really in a way that doesn't harm any stakeholders, but really serves to empower the different departments across campus to make their own decisions based on what serves their community the best. I believe UPUA needs to have an organizational-wide push to make meetings more accessible and widely known. Many students don't know this organization exists, and even less have easily accessible links to 6 or 7 open meetings that we host every week, but we never really see any more people attend. I think that this integration into student life will really hold us more accountable to the student body, especially when working through many of the different communication avenues we have for students. So if I had to wrap everything up, I think the 2 of the most important things that I would like to see in UPUA that I would continue to fight for as an at-large representative is this increase in transparency, but also this increase in very much equitable institutional initiatives that really change the way a Penn Stater will feel and the way that a student will feel coming to Penn State from day one. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is szang, Z-H-A-N-G, @psu.edu. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And next up, we have Sean Terry.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. First, I want to thank the commission and Jordan for hosting this event. This is a great opportunity for the candidates to speak. And also, I'd like to thank everybody watching from Facebook Live for coming out and showing how dedicated University Park students are to creating change and being active in their student government. Before we get into policy and platform and all that McGuff, I kind of just want to let you know who I am. First off, I'm a regular student. I'm just like you. I'm a junior studying political science, and I have similar wants, dreams, and hardships that all of us share. This year has been so rough for many of us, and I completely sympathize with that sentiment. Secondly, I've been in UPUA for just about under 5 months now. and I've been working as a legislative staffer for this Committee of Student Life. And in that time, in that very short time, I was able to pass legislation to bring intersex activist Susanna Temko to campus to speak, which I'll be moderating on March 26th at 12 p.m. Come check it out. I've started to aid and give feedback to fellow representatives on policies and procedure, including Representative Ron Sorensen's Mutual Aid Fund and others. And even in that short time, I've learned more and more about UPUA, and I know how to get things done. Finally, I'm a performer. I'm active in many of the arts clubs on campus, from Penn State Thespians to the Singing Lions. And I know that many in the arts community feel they have been struggling even throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And as a result of all three of these identifiers, I would like to be an at-large seat representative, and I'm running to be an at-large representative for the 16th UPUA legislative branch, and I am here speaking to you now. I want to advocate and work to make Penn State a more equitable and fair community for all of us. As our campaign has emphasized, we will stand up for the many students of our grand campus, not the few administrative roadblocks along the way. We are for the many, not the few. Now, I'd like to quickly just run through my platform and explain to you why I think you should vote for me and our campaign come March 31st. My policy platform is labeled the 3 A's: action, arts, and allyship. Under action, I want to keep our community safe and healthy throughout the duration of the pandemic. And the best way to do that is to push the university to protect its workers at University Park by prioritizing the access to the vaccine. I would advocate for the university to continue its alternative grading policy until substantial effects of the pandemic have subsided, and continue to provide all of these great programs through the Student Life Committee that we've been working on throughout the year, from mutual aid to the school supply packs, etc. Under the arts, it's critical that as the reopening process occurs, we remain safe, but that we offer further opportunities for our on-campus artists to do the things that they love. I would like to work on, with the Performing Arts Council, PAC, and the university to advocate for more common sense guidelines for performance. And once we end up reaching the other side of the pandemic, I'd love to set up a celebratory event that sort of goes through all of the things that we as a university and we as a student body have accomplished during the lockdown and the interim periods. I think it'd be a great way to end sort of a terrible time in our lives and to really celebrate all that we have accomplished throughout. Finally, recent events like the Zoom bombings have only further emphasized my commitment to allyship. I want to help expand hate speech and harassment policy on our campus to protect marginalized communities and root out hate from the source. And on top of this, as leaders, we should be working with these communities on campus rather than on their behalf, and involving them in both our discussion and our policy. My campaign holds a commitment to represent all of those communities at University Park, and I hope that my actions in the seat will speak to that commitment. I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight, for listening to me and the rest of the candidates, and for showing your support for your student government. If you're interested in our campaign or have any further questions or would like to endorse or support me as a candidate, simply DM our campaign page at Vote for Sean. That's VOTE, the number 4, and Sean, SEAN, on Instagram. I hope that tonight I have laid out the case as to why you should cast your vote for Sean Terry on March 31st. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Sean. And next up, we have Hope Steger.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hope Steger. I am a first-year student here at Penn State studying political science. I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, and throughout high school, I was actively involved in student council. So when I came to Penn State, I knew that I wanted to be involved in student council, or UPUA here. This year, I had the honor of being the UPUA Justice and Equity Committee Coordinator, and I absolutely loved it. I was also heavily involved in College Democrats and Empowering Women in Law here on campus. As a candidate, I realized that this year has been really hard, especially for college students with the pandemic. I mean, I'm currently in isolation with COVID, so I definitely know firsthand experience how hard it can be during this pandemic. Many people have struggled financially and dealt with mental health issues connected to the stress and isolation that this virus has caused. And if elected, I hope to continue and expand programs such as the school supply pack program that we partnered, Justice and Equity partnered with First Gen Advocates and the UPUA's We Care package. We these events help alleviate the financial burden of just everyday items from students. And I also plan to advocate for the continuation of the alternative grading system until we are done with online classes, because I know online classes can be extremely stressful and some people just have a really hard time focusing and paying attention and getting things done when classes are online. My campaign, I'm trying to run with the 3 A's, kind of similar to what possible Representative Terry had said. The first A that I have is assistance. I want to increase mental health advocacy.
Oh my God, they did reverse order.
Your mic's on. I want to increase mental health advocacy and increase CAPS funding. And I also want to work with facilities to expand the free bus loops, because not only does the CATA bus safely transport students both on and off campus, but it also helps students get home safely after a night out. It's also environmentally friendly, and it allows students to easily access local businesses supporting our downtown areas, which, as you can see if you just take a stroll downtown, have been really hardly hit with the issues surrounding COVID. They lost a lot of students going home early. They had lost a lot of business. So I really would like to try to expand the CATA bus loops. The second A is amplification. I understand that I am a white student at a primarily white institution. And I understand that as a representative, it will be my job to listen to marginalized communities on campus in order to effectively create change that will help everyone, not just the majority of the students on campus. Through Justice and Equity, I've seen so many amazing people really create change that truly help people. When I was handing out the school supply packs, people were like, thank you so much. Like, I really needed this. And I've seen some other advocacy programs that we're trying to start, such as the one that Representative Gangle started. They've spearheaded an amazing piece of legislation to help LGBTQ students feel more comfortable and accepted on campus, steering them towards the nearest gender neutral bathrooms on campus. And I have a feeling, I don't know if that was passed, so if it is not, I'd love to help in the 16th, I believe, 16th committee. And I'd also like to create more roundtables, and not only just create roundtables, but reach out to different people on campus and different groups on campus and really bring them in and say, like, we do want to hear what you have to say. We want to listen, because putting out an ad on Instagram and saying, hey, we're having a roundtable, and having 3 people show up is not really going to evoke the change that I'm looking for. I want to meet with different groups of people, meet with different clubs, and hear what every student wants on campus, so that I can really try to evoke change that will make everyone happy. And the third thing is accountability. Most likely environmental accountability. I came to this institution partially because they called themselves a grain school, and I understand that with COVID it's hard, but on the first day I was given a styrofoam box in a plastic bag and said, here's your dinner. And to me, that is extremely unsustainable, and being in isolation, it hurts my heart having to use all single-use things. And I've seen that UPUA has been holding the administration accountable for some of their sustainability efforts, and I would love to be a part of that if elected. Thank you so much for your time. I really just want to make everyone feel included on campus and help campus be a better place and more welcoming for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Hope. And next up, we have Anne-Marie Round Sorensen.
Hi, so my name is Anne-Marie Brown Sorensen. I'm a junior majoring in political science and human resources. I'm running for re-election. I just served the entire year on the 15th Assembly, and some big projects that I worked on. I founded the mutual aid program to combat period poverty, and so this is going to be a permanent fixture in the UPUA office where people can go and they can take what they need, whether that be pads, tampons, masks, sanitary wipes, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste. That will be in our office. So that was really exciting to work on, and I'm really excited to continue the work if you guys choose to elect me again. So I also worked on 12 pieces of legislation. 11 of them reached the floor and 10 of them passed. One of them was a bill. So I've also only ever missed one assembly meeting, and I don't think I've ever missed a vote because I think I voted in the legislation from last night. So yes, I'm very reliable. I'm here to advocate for students, and I'm very excited about the work that I do with others and myself. I'm very passionate about the work that I do with UPUA. So I'm also passionate about advocating for underrepresented groups on campus. And with that, this past year in assembly, I have worked to make sure that reps and like myself and other representatives are using inclusive language. I've helped to eliminate racism and homophobic speech that we've seen during assembly meetings. And so I'm proud of that work as well. Some projects that I'd like to work on next year. This year I sat on the Government Affairs Committee and the Student Life Committee. And next year I'm thinking I might do Student Life and Justice and Equity so I can help advocate for queer students like myself on campus next year. So I'm very excited about that. And then I would also, Stephen kind of touched on the Stanford State bias training that we had. And then I would also like to hopefully work with whoever the speaker is to get a mandatory Stanford State interrupting sexual and relationship violence training for all members of UPUA, because as some of us have probably seen in the news recently, trigger warning, 97% of women have experienced sexual assault in their lives. And that applies to our campus too. And I'm not okay with that. And I want to work to make sure that our campus is a safer place and that our student government is a safe place. So those are the projects that I'd like to work on. Again, expanding mutual aid, maybe reaching it out into like the residence life offices around campus, just stuff like that. Yeah, I love the work that I do, and I love working with everybody else, and I really hope that you'll consider voting for me. So have a good night.
Thank you, Anne Marie. And next up, we have Joshua Reynolds.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joshua Reynolds. I'm an at-large of the 15th Assembly running for re-election in the 16th Assembly. I am a sophomore here, rising junior, majoring in economics, political science, Chinese, and hopefully Spanish. For my campaign, there are three main focuses I have: community, accessibility, and transparency. So with community, I've been focused on projects like the tentatively named Engage State, which is an initiative to help build up the Penn State network and draw in all students, because it has been painfully obvious, especially this past year with everything being largely online, that there are many students who do not feel that they are part of the Penn State community, or that they feel that even though they're in the midst of others, they are still isolated because it's just difficult to reach out and get connected. And so this initiative is aimed specifically at getting people involved in both physical and digital activities to help them make friends, get involved with clubs, and just overall improve the mental health and the sense of camaraderie here at Penn State. On a somewhat similar vein, Student Engagement Network, I have been somewhat involved with that office and the work that they do. I helped provide feedback in the design of their office that is situated in the hub, but what is of much more excitement to me is this app that they have been developing that I have played a role in offering feedback on, promoting, and hopefully soon beta testing, which would consolidate Penn State's many, many different resources into an organized, accessible platform that students can actually take advantage of. Because I don't know how many of you have tried, but if you are trying to get involved with a club or in some kind of student leadership activity or community service or an internship, you basically just have to type the keywords into Google and hope for the best. This is just not acceptable for how much there is to be involved with at Penn State and for how much money is spent on these things. So this app, which will hopefully be rolling out this fall, this app should address lots of those concerns by making it much easier to find the different ways that you can get involved at Penn State, and also by providing a valuable feed about what events are happening and a way to connect with friends. So on another note, accessibility, that also ties into affordability of education. And a big issue that we as a student government have the potential to address is textbook expenditures, which have bounced around. They have changed in format due to the online situation, but as we return to in-person, I hope that we learn from the experiences of last spring, and that there are many, many ways in which we can trim down on just what materials students actually need or the cost they have to spend to get them. So part of this, this effort would involve establishing a market or promoting some kind of forum for students to buy, sell, and exchange books with each other instead of having to deal with the monopolized bookstore and pay a massive premium. Another component of it would be finding ways that we can work with Faculty Senate to change the way that students assign mandatory textbooks and homework, and see if we can move from requiring latest edition massive textbooks to having simple PDF handouts or allowing students to get old used textbooks for much cheaper and save them hundreds of dollars a semester. And finally, in terms of transparency, there's issues with both the university and with the student government. With the student government in particular, one thing that would be fantastic is if our meeting agendas were more publicly available and promoted so that students who have an interest in what we're discussing can show up like they did last night when it came to the climate initiative. So in addition to that, we'll have to adjust our own elections, which we're in the midst of one right now. It's quite appalling that there are only 20 people on the ballot for 20 at-large representative seats. And there are a number of college seats that do not have anybody on the ballot at this point in time, which I encourage everybody to consider a running campaign for their respective college if you seek to help represent your fellow students in the student government. But the UPUA needs to work on doing a better job of promoting the kind of competition that ensures better representation, and also using surveys to garner the student feedback. There have been bills previously brought up that students often did not support, but there was no way to gauge this. Well, there was a way to gauge this, but nobody took that effort. And so one of those was dealing with campus closure, in which 2/3 of those present on campus strongly opposed, another 6th mildly or moderately or neutrally opposed, and then only another 6th felt that we should go through with closing campus. However, the UPUA had attempted to pressure the university to do this action in contrast with the will of our constituents. And so I think that sends a message that we need to be doing a better job of listening to what our constituents really want. And part of that is by doing surveys, by doing outreach, by making sure that students come to meetings to share what they think. That meeting had more than 100 students come to attend, and many of them spoke, and it was fantastic to hear. And I hope that we see more of that in the future. So if you support my plans and hopes for community accessibility and transparency, I strongly encourage you to look up my Instagram, Joshua Reynolds 1776, send me a direct message and ask how you can get involved with the campaign, or if there's anything I can do to you, do for you, any question I can address, I would be more than happy to do so. Thank you for your time and attendance, and have a great night.
Thank you, Joshua. And up next, we have Kyle Quinn.
Hi, everyone. So as we just heard, my name is Kyle Quinn. I'm a freshman here studying industrial engineering. I was actually born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I moved when I was 2 or 3, and I grew up in Montville, New Jersey. So I'm running for the position of at-large representative here in the UPUA, and I'm gonna, tell you guys a bit about myself and get into my platform. Sorry if I sound a bit congested. I've been a bit sick for the past few days. So number one, I love getting involved around campus, and I'm a member of several different organizations, whether it be obviously UPUA, Thon, the Photography Club, Ski Club, or even a fun Instagram account that I'm a part of with a few of my friends called Cedar State, where we do interviews and host activities such as snowball fights and things like that. So I'm running for re-election this year, in the UPUA. I currently serve as one of the 2 freshman representatives in the General Assembly. And so that means that I'm at the meetings every week, committed to hearing different opinions, casting my vote, and overall just making sure that my freshman class is supported and voted on in the best way possible. So one of the things that I noticed as soon as I joined UPUA was this huge difference between high school student council and college student council. If any of you guys remember, or if you were in student council in high school, all the student council people were very involved in school activities, whether it be, I remember planning pep rallies, hosting huge winter concerts, spirit weeks, things like that. Yet, however, in UPUA, we don't do much of that. So I would like to see a bit more of that traditional high school like student council implemented into the college level of UPUA. So how are we going to do this? Well, one, I think that we should expand the UPUA, and if reelected, I will work to get more representation within the assembly. For example, there's about 40 at-large representatives that make up the General Assembly in UPUA. However, there are 40,000 students, undergraduate students here at Penn State. To me, that's not enough representation. I think that we need more people in the UPUA getting their voices heard, casting votes, and in general, getting the word out there of what UPUA is. As Josh just mentioned, not a lot of people know what UPUA is. And I think by including more people in the legislation, voting, and discussion of student life, we can really spread the name of UPUA and therefore spread the positive impact that it has. So with all of these people introduced, we can create an activities and events committees. This could be a subcommittee of the current student life committee where we kind of work on planning events, hosting fundraisers and fun things. For example, I'm a member of the engineering undergraduate student council, and in a normal year, without COVID, they have a hot wing eating contest every year. That has nothing to do with engineering, that has nothing to do with like leadership. That's just something that the engineering undergraduate council does to, one, raise money for Thon in the school, and two, just foster student interaction with each other and a more fun student life here at Penn State. So I think that if the UPUA could do more events like that, we would have a much better impact on the school. So also I mentioned that I want to get more people involved in the UPUA. I think that we should also have class councils within the UPUA. So for example, I'm a member of freshman council right now. There's about 10 or 20 members of the council, and we attend weekly meetings, get to know each other, and we work on projects for other representatives. And we come from all walks of life, many different backgrounds, religions, races, ethnicity, political views, genders, and we get these people from the freshman class together, and we're able to kind of have a clear-cut voice of what the Penn State freshman class is. I see no reason why this can't also be done with the sophomore, junior, and senior classes here at Penn State. Because if we're going to truly represent 40,000 members at University Park, we're going to need people that are sophomores, people that are juniors, people that are seniors, not just a freshman council. So just to kind of sum up everything I've just said, we're going to get more involvement, we're going to get more representation, and we're going to have more activities through the UPUA. And I hope to be able to accomplish all of this through my reelection campaign here at University Park. So that is all of the primary platforms that I have, all the sort of new ideas. Of course, I'm all for things like inclusion, transparency, and representation across the many different diverse populations of University Park. But I feel like those have all been said, and I am in full support of all of them. But I really wanted to take my 5 minutes to show you the new ideas that maybe haven't been mentioned before, and possibly what could make you vote for me to sort of separate myself from my peers here, although they all also have some pretty awesome ideas, and I really look forward to hopefully working with them again next year. So again, thank you guys for coming tonight. I love the opportunity to be able to talk with you, and hopefully if you guys have any questions, you can email me at kqq5034@pennstate.edu. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, Kyle. And up next, we have David Morgan.
Hello, fellow Penn State students and also fellow at-large representatives. I want to thank you firstly to the current UPUA Assembly for setting up this this town hall, and to appreciate for the great communication and support from you as well. My name is David Morgan. I'm running for an at-large representative. I'm majoring in poli-sci communications, so this is kind of my bread and butter, and I want to gain more experience in UPUA to help impact the future and to help impact the voices of you at Penn State. I personally believe that everybody's voice is important, and I think it's particularly imperative that we highlight underrepresented communities so that we can evaluate problems from all angles, so that we can best represent everybody. I truly believe in the First Amendment, and I think that open discourse and cooperation are key aspects required in any governmental institution. And I personally intend to abide by these principles if elected as an at-large representative. To tell you some things that I really think that would be great to have here at Penn State, there's two big things. Obviously, during these COVID times and the pandemic, a lot of us have struggled during virtual learning, and we've seen that statistically with the large disparity between the top half of students and the bottom half of students and their grades and their scores during the pandemic. We see a lot of only the top students are really succeeding, and we need to start helping these bottom students because this is the level at which the pandemic has affected their learning, and all of our learning is just vast. And I think a way to do this would be to try to help everybody get back to school, to in-person learning using strict countermeasures to counteract the transmission of the virus. I think that should be a primary goal for you, the UPUA, so that we can, first off, so that everybody can get the learning that we are paying for as students, and number two, so that we can try to get the best college experience that we all can. Number two, another initiative that I really think that would be very beneficial to the student body is a streamlined process for finding jobs and internships. Penn State's huge school with vast networks of connections to various corporations, companies, and employers. But one of the things that I find when I'm talking to different people on campus is that they don't necessarily know where to go to find these opportunities. And so I'd like to suggest some sort of central hub that you can go on and try to find a job that connects to your individual area of study or your major, some place that everybody knows where to go. Say this connects you with an employer in your field, and opens up potential opportunities for everybody across the board. Because I think that that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of people want to find is experience in their individual fields, and I think this would be a great way to help conduct that. If you choose to elect me, I welcome any and all feedback so that I can better adjust to serve the needs of the people, because that's the job of a representative, is to represent the people's interests, not your own. And I really would like to do that, and I welcome any and all, like I said, any and all sorts of critique, commentary, or anything else. If you'd like to contact me or support in any way, you can email me at dom5464@psu.edu. Once again, my name is David Morgan. I'm running for at-large representative, and I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. And we have up next Mary Meisner.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marie Meisner, and I am actually originally from Jackson, Michigan. Everyone is always like, why would you come to Penn State? And it's like, the reason I came here is for the community. I have visited so many other colleges before I finally landed up being at Penn State. And the moment I walked on campus, I just knew that I had to be here. This was the place for me. I know it sounds cliche, you'll know it when you feel it, but there was no other way to describe the feeling I got when I walked on this campus. I knew that this was the place for me. I am currently, I think I said this, I'm currently a junior in biomedical engineering, and I'm considering taking up a minor in bioethics and medical humanities. Right now, I'm involved in multicultural Greek life. I am a sister of Alpha Kappa Delta Phi International Sorority Incorporated. And within that sorority, I have worked multiple positions, including being the co-chair of Asian Awareness and also being the delegate for the Asian Pacific Islander Desi American Caucus, or also known as APITA Caucus. I've held these positions for the last 3 semesters, and I've really enjoyed learning from the experience and being able to grow. I'm also currently sitting on the 15th Assembly as the representative of the Multicultural Greek Council. And on UPUA, I sit on the Committee on Justice and Equity. Regarding on how I've been campaigning, I have been communicating with the different organizations that I'm a part of and just really branching out to see my influence and reach and trying to expand that. I spent a lot of time actually trying to connect with more people in my major. Some of you may know that like engineering can be a very lonely space sometimes, and it does not help over Zoom courses to try and connect with others. So I've been really trying to take this opportunity that I have right now to make those connections better and have, meet other people. So something that I realized with connecting with one another is how different that everybody is. I mean, I sit in my own little bubble sometimes, and I know that's not great, but you know what? Reaching out has given me the ability to see that other people have different, different struggles basically, and they go through different lives. And I think that being a member of the UPUA will help give me those like reach and help me realize there's more out there besides what I see and what I experience myself. I want to learn from the others around me, basically. I don't want to just always be this one person I've always been. And I just want to basically learn anything and everything that I possibly can. One of the things that I want to run on is being able to give voices to underrepresented communities. I know a lot of great candidates have said things like that tonight, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. One of the things that I think is best for advocacy, though, is to allow these underrepresented communities to come up and be advocates themselves. No one knows the struggles of being a minority or being an underrepresented community better than those who live it every day. I want to use this platform also to give people who may not have the resources, the time, the money, the energy, to the mental health basically, to take on this position. And I want to give them a voice and just let them know that like, I cannot live a day in your shoes. All I can do is try to understand what you've gone through. And I want to be able to give you that voice to be able to speak out. I'm not at all trying to say that I want to stand in front of you. I wish to stand alongside of you. I know that being a representative in front of the whole student body takes a lot of collaboration. So some of the qualifications that I believe would be great for this job is that I have a really strong work ethic, and I'm very passionate about everything that I do. When I was younger, I wanted to do everything I could with 120%. You always give it your all and then a little bit more. I know it's crazy because like 100% is all. If you're giving 120%, it just sounds kind of fun, but like that's what I've always done. I grew up learning karate for like 12 years of my life. That's a majority of my life. Something that I've learned though is how to be disciplined in the way that is being open to other people and respecting them. You may not see eye to eye all the time with somebody, but you have to learn to respect that person for just who they are. And I think I have the ability to do that. I also learned how to stick up for myself at a young age, and seeing other communities and other people not get that chance makes me really sad. And I want to stick up for the little guy, basically. Yeah. So if sorry, I talked about advocacy. That's really what I want to talk about though. Like my platform will run on advocating for those who cannot speak for themselves or just feel that it'd be better if just somebody else did it. We all have our issues. We all have our own personal demons and stuff like that. And I just really want to be that person that, that you can come to and talk about things. I am open to the student body. I want to be your representative, So yeah, to conclude, basically, this position gives me the reach that I want to learn about everybody and better myself for not only me and my own personal goal, but I want to basically make the world a better place. I know it's so cheesy, but little by little. And I think that's what we all came to college for. You all have a little bit of, I want to save the world, you know, you always want to make the world just a little bit better. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Marie. And lastly, we have Matthew Soska.
Hi, everybody. My name is Matthew Soska. I'm a sophomore here at Penn State studying political science and philosophy. My other campus involvements include Penn State GOP, where I'm the secretary, Schreier's Honors College, Paterno Fellows, and Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity. My apologies for not being able to be here with you guys live tonight. I work in the West Dining Hall, and I have a scheduled shift. Once you're on the scheduling board, can't get out. But it is a good segue into why I want to run for UPUA. Being a student worker here, I can say with confidence that our facilities can definitely be improved. That's especially the case during COVID. One of my main goals being in UPUA is to develop a plan where we can safely, quickly, but not too quickly, open our facilities so students can enjoy them again. As states begin to open up, as vaccines begin to roll out, I think it's safe to say that the capacity in which we can use our facilities this semester is different than what it will be next semester. Another thing I'm very passionate about is textbooks. This came from me observing over the years how online versions of textbooks tend to be cheaper than print versions of textbooks. So another one of my main goals will be to roll out a resolution that would encourage professors to use the online versions of textbooks or try and use an e-textbook as opposed to a physical copy. Not only is this better for the environment, but it's better for our wallets. For example, earlier in this semester, I had a philosophy professor who wanted us to buy 5 books. 3 of them I could find online. The first one was $15 for the actual physical copy, and it was 99 cents for the Kindle version. The last 2 textbooks, however, could not be bought online. You had to buy them physical copy, and they costed $20 each, which was $40. My goal is to prevent this where we can. I understand sometimes the physical copy is needed, but I think in most instances, especially in the liberal arts, it is not. So if you enjoy my platform, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My campus email is mks6238@psu.edu. And yeah, please vote for me. Thank you.
Virtually, thank you, Matthew. And with that, those were all of the candidates that we had for tonight. I want to say thank you to everyone who is on the live stream or will be watching this in the future via YouTube. Especially thank you to all the candidates for coming tonight and bringing awareness to their campaigns and their platforms, and especially to the Daily Collegian for coming and covering this event as well. And I hope everyone has a great night and wish all the candidates the best of luck going into the rest of the campaign period.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you.
Always good to see
Have a
you.
good night.
Thank
Have a
you all
great
for
night.
being here.